If you're looking for a trusted and reliable source of news and information, check out my friends over at patriotpost.us. A link for them will be in the description box. So when you head over there and subscribe, tell them that ABL sent you. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I got to give you my 2 cents on this case that Amazing Lucas and Brandon Tatum have been kind of going back and forth over, and that is a case of Arizona dad Melvin Harris III, who got 8 years in the penitentiary for, according to him, trying to protect his daughter from a man that tried to break into her stall at a gas station bathroom. Now, I got to get through this whole backstory before I get into my personal opinion about the situation and whose side I'm on as far as Tatum or Lucas. And of course, just the facts of the case, regardless of my personal opinion. Now, first things first, Melvin Harris III, the father, goes to the QT store, the QuikTrip, to pick up his daughter and her friends. Now, when he's in the parking lot, a guy by the name of Leon Armstrong comes up to him and asks for some money, begging for change, whatever. He gives him the change, and then the guy goes into the store. Now, after this, the daughter and her friends come out and they say, hey, a man tried to break into the stall. He was shaking it, tried to get in. Now, they go to the security and they're saying, hey, this guy tried to do this, that, and the third. Now, it's not quite clear if the dad is in the store at this particular point, but the guy, Leon, who's the same guy gave money to, is escorted out of the store. The dad at a certain point goes to security and says, hey, either you guys take care of it or I'm going to take care of it. It's not quite clear what take care of it means, and it's not quite clear if the guy is still in the store or not. But whatever the case may be, the security are alerted of this guy that tried to get into the daughter's stall in the women's restroom at this QuikTrip. Now, the daughter, the father, and the friends, I suppose, leave the store. After they leave, they spot the guy close to the store. The daughter points him out to the father. The father approaches the guy. They get into a confrontation. The father punches the man, knocks him out. Now, the father is saying that Leon Armstrong swung on him first, but that's not really important because Leon Armstrong got knocked out, fell to the ground, or at least knocked down on the ground. Witnesses say that after this happens, Melvin Harris III beats the man as he's on the ground. Now, as a result of that, the guy dies of his injuries a little bit later. Shortly after the guy is beat up, Melvin Harris is arrested by the police. He is initially charged with aggravated assault because the guy's not dead yet. After he dies, the charges are upgraded to second-degree murder. Melvin Harris decides, okay, I don't want to roll dice with the jury, whatever. I'm going to take a plea deal and cop to manslaughter. That's why he got an 8-year sentence. Now, Lucas is saying that's too long. That's not really appropriate. Brandon is like, well, the law is the law. It is what it is. Brandon's not necessarily taking the side of the guy that got beat down and killed. He's just saying, this is what the law says. And Brandon is right. You can't actually do that. The guy's trying to say, oh, I was defending my daughter. No, you weren't. The time to defend your daughter would have been at the time where the guy went into the bathroom. Okay, if you were in the store and saw a man going to the women's restroom after your daughter went in there, you are able to go into the restroom just to make sure everything is okay. Not with your gun out or ready to hurt somebody. You got to go in there to see what's happening, just to make sure this guy is not a transgender, not a drug addict, not somebody that's, mentally not there, not knowing what's going on, schizophrenic. You got to make sure your daughter is safe to ensure her safety at that point when the guy is in there. All right. Now, after he leaves and the threat is over, if you go approach this man and you do something to him, that's not defending your daughter because your daughter's no longer in danger. The daughter is with you. The daughter's not in the bathroom anymore in a vulnerable position. So really what he did was vigilante action. That's called revenge. You can't do that. It's actually illegal. Now, if he thought what he did was correct to quote unquote protect his daughter, although there was no longer a threat, he should have went down the road of a jury trial. A jury may be sympathetic towards your cause. They may say, oh, here's a dad, he's a black man trying to protect his daughter from the world, although the guy he beat up and killed was black, but different story. Anyway, they may buy into the story and they may give him a lenient sentence, or they may let him get off totally. But that is not what he did. He decided to go with a plea bargain. That's why he got the 8 years. He was not sentenced by a jury to 8 years. He chose to get 8 years because he could have gotten more time if he were convicted on second-degree murder, which is what he was charged with, because he beat the guy down and then he died. That is not legal what he did, okay? Furthermore, the guy did not actually do anything to the daughter. All he did was shake the door. Now, some are going to say, okay, why was he shaking the door? Who knows? I don't know. Nobody knows. Somebody may say, oh, he was trying to break in to rape the daughter. Well, there were other girls that were in the restroom that were not in the stall. So why didn't they get touched at all? Why would you try to break into the stall, just shake the door and not even do it? You're able to kick those doors in. You can get over the, like, if you really wanted to attack the girl in the stall, you'd be able to do it and there wouldn't really be anything in your way. And that's what you wanted to do. The guy was probably a dope fiend on drugs, which is why he was begging for money so he can get drugs. I've said it before. I don't give money to people on the street. I don't do it because usually they're going to buy drugs and or alcohol with your money. And I'm not trying to have somebody mess around, cop drugs, OD, and die and have my money be the lethal dose. But I digress. The point is that nobody really knows why he was trying to break into the door, but it doesn't matter because he was not successful at doing it. Therefore, the action was over the top. Now, here's a different scenario. If he was successful at breaking into the door, he goes in there, sexually assaults the girl, touches her or something like that. Now, the vigilante action may be justified depending upon the jury that you get. There is an example of this actually happening and the guy getting off. Let's go all the way back to 1984. 35 years ago, there was a very high profile case out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A guy by the name of Gary Plotch's son was kidnapped by a man by the name of Jeff Doucette. Jeff Doucette was Gary's son's karate instructor. For at least a year, this karate instructor molested Gary's son. At the end of this whole situation, the karate instructor kidnapped the 11-year-old boy, took him from Baton Rouge to California, sexually assaulted him in the hotel room repeatedly, and the guy was eventually captured and the boy was rescued from him. Now, the karate instructor was extradited from California back to Louisiana to face trial for what he did. So they fly him back. He has to go through the airport. The father, Gary Plotch, is in the airport waiting on him. He has on kind of a disguise, so he was not recognized. He is talking on the phone to his best friend. As the karate instructor crosses his path, Gary, the father, pulls out a gun, bangs him, point blank. One time in the head, he dies the next day. The police are right there. TV cameras are right there. You can search for it online. You can see it in full color. He goes to a jury trial because obviously he murdered the guy. You can't do that as vigilante action. He goes to a trial and beats it because what jury is going to really want to convict you after this man kidnapped your 11-year-old son and raped him repeatedly, okay, for like a year? But this case in Arizona is much different than that case in Louisiana 35 years ago. The guy was not successful at being able to break into the stall. All he did was shake the stall and leave. He did not touch the girl. He did not say anything to her. There were other girls in the bathroom that were not in stalls. They did not get touched or approached or anything like that. The guy was probably on drugs, mentally ill, or both, and was trying to go into the bathroom to go bang his needle, smoke his drugs, or whatever the case may be. That is the most likely case. The whole thing about rape and all of that did not happen. Could it have happened? Maybe. but it did not happen. So the father just took things to the extreme. Now, if you want to do something like that, if you feel like, I got to protect my daughter, I got to beat this man half to death, and if he dies, oh well, you got to be able to take whatever comes as a result of that. If you want to confront that man without calling the police, you got to be able to take whatever comes with that. If that means jail, then so be it. Stand on that. You can't say, well, I don't deserve jail. Well, you have to understand you can't do certain things. And ignorance is no excuse to the law. You can't say, well, I didn't know I couldn't kill him because you scared my daughter. That's not a valid excuse. You cannot do that as vigilante action. Like I said, if you thought that his actions were valid, he should have gone down the road of having a jury trial and had faith in his peers that they would get him off, although what he did was totally 100% illegal, the same as Gary Plotch back in 1984. Simple as that. What he should have done was call the police after they spot the guy, give a description and say, hey, this guy did X, Y, and Z, and then let them handle it. When you want to go out there and beat him to death, it's just not what you are able to do, okay? Even if there was not going to be a real punishment, oh well, what did he actually do? Shook the door? Lucas was saying that the guy shouldn't have gotten 8 years, and Brandon was saying, hey, the law is a law, you got to follow the law. I mean, it's facts over emotion. You feel like you shouldn't have gotten 8 years. You feel like that shouldn't have been what the resolution was, but the law says something different. If you got a beef with the actual resolution, take it up with the law. But I don't think the law is going to be changed, because you can't just be the judge, jury, executioner out there as a citizen. That's just not what it is. Now, some would say, what about police officers? Well, that's a whole different story. They have a license to do certain things that regular citizens can't do. But even the police officer cannot shoot and kill somebody after they try to break into a stall and were not successful. That's not how that works, okay? If they're trying to arrest somebody and they're resisting, they can use necessary force to be able to get them under control, but they can't just run up on you, punch you in the face, and then after you fall on the ground, stomp you. That's not legal, regardless whether you're an officer or not. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that the father, Melvin Harris III, was correct to do what he did as it relates to Leon Armstrong? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Do you think that the 8-year sentence was appropriate? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why. I think that what he got was correct. You can't just go out there and do vigilante stuff, especially when there was nothing that actually happened. Now, if there was an actual rape that happened or some kind of assault that happened, okay, that's a little bit different. I would say go to a jury trial and they would be much more lenient on you because they understand the situation, especially if you were there to defend your daughter from the very beginning. If he goes into the bathroom while the guy is trying to break into the stall and he stops it and the guy tries to fight back and then they have a fight and then the guy passes away, there probably is not going to be a charge there because you are in self-defense mode, okay? But after the threat is over, you can't then go find the guy and then kill him or beat him down. You just can't do that. You got to call the police and let them handle it. You can't be out there just doing whatever you want to do. That is illegal. That's why he's locked up right now, unfortunately. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.